There are moments in life when a new week doesn't just arrive on the calendar. It arrives in your spirit. You feel it in the quiet of a Monday morning, in the way the air seems a little different, in the way your heart whispers that maybe, just maybe, this week can be better than the last. And before the noise of life rushes in, before responsibilities scatter your thoughts, before doubt tries to steal your peace, there is a sacred pause where you get to choose how you begin, not with fear, not with pressure, but with prayer, with intention, with a quiet strength that rises from deep within you. Today is one of those moments. Today you have the chance to speak life into your path, to breathe hope into your heart, to set the tone for every step you take in the days ahead. You don't need perfection. You don't need everything figured out. You just need a willing spirit and a few seconds of stillness. Because when you start your week in prayer, you don't just step into Monday, you step into possibility. You walk into your week covered, centered, and strengthened from the inside out. The power of a fresh start on a Monday is something many people underestimate. Yet it holds the potential to shift the entire flow of your week in a profound way. Mondays often come with pressure, with expectations, with the baggage of the previous week still lingering in the background. And for many people, it feels like stepping back into a world that demands more than it gives. But when you choose to begin that week with prayer, with a moment of spiritual grounding, you're not just entering Monday, you are entering a new chapter of possibility. A fresh start doesn't depend on a perfect past. It depends on a willing heart. And prayer becomes the space where you remind yourself that you are capable of facing whatever comes with calmness and clarity. Starting your new week with prayer is like opening the door to your day with peace instead of panic, with intention instead of aimlessness. Because in that quiet moment, you decide what kind of energy you want to carry with you and what kind of week you want to create. A fresh start also means acknowledging that you have survived every previous Monday, every tough moment, every difficult decision that felt like it would drain you, and yet you are still here. Monday becomes a symbol of new hope, a place where you don't have to be who you were last week. Whatever mistakes you made, whatever heaviness you carried, whatever disappointments you faced, Monday gives you permission to release them. Prayer supports this release because it gently lifts the emotional weight from your shoulders. It gives you a spiritual reset, a deep breath for your soul, a moment where you can say, I am starting again, stronger, clearer, renewed. This is the beauty of Monday. When seen through the lens of prayer, it transforms from something you dread into something that empowers you. When you begin your Monday with prayer, you are anchoring yourself. Life often feels unstable, unpredictable, and overwhelming. And if you walk into your week without grounding your spirit, everything that happens feels heavier. But prayer steadies you. It aligns your thoughts, strengthens your intentions, and sets the tone for how you respond to challenges. Even if the world rushes around you, even if responsibilities pile up, even if your emotions feel scattered, prayer becomes the quiet foundation holding you steady. It is not a grand ritual. It is simply choosing to pause, choosing to breathe, choosing to connect. And that connection brings a sense of quiet power that you carry into every conversation, every task, every decision throughout the week. A fresh start on Monday also brings opportunity. Every new week comes with possibilities you haven't seen yet, blessings you haven't experienced yet, and doors you haven't opened yet. Prayer shifts your perspective so you can see those opportunities instead of focusing on what went wrong before. It clears the fog of stress and fear so your vision becomes clearer. You begin to notice the small miracles, the unexpected chances, the little signs of hope that guide you. When you pray at the start of the week, you are telling life, I am ready for more. I am open for better. I am stepping forward with purpose. And purpose is what changes the entire direction of your week. There is also a quiet emotional strength that comes from starting the week with prayer. It softens your heart, but strengthens your spirit. It helps you walk into Monday, Not with anxiety, but with assurance. You stop feeling like you're being dragged into another week and start feeling like you're stepping into something meaningful. Prayer reminds you that you don't walk alone, that there is a deeper presence guiding you, comforting you, and supporting you. Even if the week ahead is uncertain, even if you don't know what challenges you might face, prayer creates a sense of courage within you. It whispers to you that whatever comes, you will handle it because you began your week connected to something greater than your fears. And in the simplest way, that is what gives Monday its true power. The fresh start doesn't come from the calendar. It comes from your spirit. It comes from choosing to reset, choosing to realign, choosing to start your week, not with stress, but with spiritual intention. When you do that, Monday becomes more than a day. It becomes a doorway. It becomes an invitation to rise, to grow, to breathe, to trust, and to walk forward with a renewed heart. Finding strength through quiet moments is one of the most overlooked but powerful practices a person can embrace, especially at the beginning of a new week. In a world that constantly pushes you to move faster, do more, stay busy, and never pause, it can feel counterintuitive to stop and be still. Yet that stillness is exactly where you rediscover the energy and clarity you thought you lost. Prayer becomes that sacred pause, a moment where everything external becomes quiet so everything internal can become clear. It's not about performing something perfect. It's about showing up exactly as you are, with your confusion, your exhaustion, your worries, your doubts, and deciding to connect with something beyond your own strength. That connection becomes a soft but steady reminder that you are not navigating life alone, and you don't have to carry the weight of your week entirely on your shoulders. Quiet moments teach you how to hear yourself again. So often you push through days without acknowledging your own emotions because there's simply too much to do and too little time to stop. But when you enter a moment of prayer, you give yourself permission to breathe and listen to the voice inside that's been drowned out by the noise of life. Maybe that voice has been asking for rest, or trying to warn you about something, or whispering hopes you've been too busy to pursue. Prayer makes space for your inner truth to surface, and that truth becomes a source of strength. When you feel heard by yourself, your confidence rises. When you feel heard spiritually, your courage grows. This is the kind of quiet strength that carries you through the week in a way loud motivation can't. There's also a deep emotional healing that unfolds in moments of quiet prayer. Sometimes the things weighing on your heart don't need solutions, they need release. When you sit in stillness, you allow your emotions to settle and rearrange themselves. The worries that felt overwhelming begin to soften. The burdens you carried tightly begin to loosen. Quiet moments give space for tears if they come, for peace if it settles, for clarity if it rises. It's in this space that you gather the emotional endurance you need for the days ahead. Strength doesn't always look like pushing harder. Sometimes it looks like resting deeper. Prayer becomes a gentle reset, allowing your heart to regain its balance before stepping into a demanding week. Quiet moments also remind you of your resilience. When you pause long enough to reflect, you realize how many things you've already survived. Sitting in stillness allows you to acknowledge your past victories, the storms you endured, the nights you thought you'd break but didn't. This recognition fuels a deeper strength, the kind that tells you that if you've made it this far, you can handle whatever is coming. Prayer doesn't erase challenges, but it equips you with the mental fortitude to face them with calmness instead of panic. It teaches you how to rely on inner stability rather than outer circumstances, which is one of the strongest forms of resilience a person can cultivate. Prayer in quiet moments also builds a sense of trust. Trust in yourself, trust in your journey, trust that things will unfold as they should. Life can feel uncertain, unpredictable, and chaotic, and that uncertainty often leads to fear. But when you take time to be still and connect spiritually, you begin to develop a quiet confidence that you are guided, that you are protected, that you are being led towards something meaningful, even if you don't see it yet. This trust becomes a strong anchor throughout the week, grounding you when everything else feels unstable. And there is something incredibly empowering about knowing that you can create this strength whenever you need it. You don't need a special place or perfect timing. You don't need to be in an ideal emotional state. You can pause in the middle of your morning routine, on your way to work, or in a corner of your home and simply breathe. You can close your eyes for a moment, whisper a prayer, and feel yourself lifted again. Quiet moments give you a refuge you can access anywhere, anytime, no matter what life looks like. In these quiet spaces, you rediscover your own power. You reconnect with the part of yourself that is calm, aware, centered, and spiritually held. And when you carry that strength into your week, you walk differently. You approach challenges with clarity. You respond rather than react. You handle pressure with grace. You become someone who is not easily shaken because your strength is coming from a place within that noise cannot disturb. This is the strength found in quiet moments. The strength that prayer nourishes. The strength that prepares you to face the week with a steady heart and a grounded spirit. Embracing your inner survivor energy is not about pretending to be strong or hiding your struggles behind a perfect image. It's about recognizing the quiet resilience that has carried you through every challenge you face. This survivor energy lives in the parts of you that refuse to give up, even when life became overwhelming, even when the path ahead felt uncertain, even when you doubted yourself. It's the strength that grows in silence, in pain, in healing, in rebuilding. And when you choose to begin your week with prayer, you tap into that energy in a way that feels grounding, empowering, and deeply personal. Prayer becomes a mirror that shows you not just who you are, but what you've survived and how far you've come. It reminds you that strength isn't something outside of you. It's been inside you all along, waiting to be acknowledged and activated. Your inner survivor energy is shaped by the storms you've faced, the moments when life tested you, and the nights when you had to comfort yourself because no one else understood what you were going through. Prayer gives you the space to remember that those moments did not break you, they built you. They gave you layers of wisdom, patience, courage, and empathy. Many people think survivors are loud, bold, and fearless, but true survivor energy is often quiet. It sits in your chest like a steady drumbeat. It shows up in your ability to keep moving even when you're tired. It shows up in your decision to try again after disappointment. It shows up in your willingness to heal instead of staying bitter. When you pray at the beginning of a week, you reconnect with that deep part of yourself, the part that knows you can handle whatever comes next because you've already handled so much. This energy is powerful because it's real. It doesn't come from pretending to be unbothered. It comes from admitting that life hasn't always been easy for you, yet you're still standing. Prayer helps soften the shame or heaviness that sometimes comes with struggle, transforming it into strength. Instead of seeing your past as a series of wounds, you begin to see it as a record of battles you survive. This shift in perspective changes how you walk into the new week. You no longer see yourself as someone who is merely trying to get through life. You see yourself as someone who has earned the wisdom to navigate it with resilience. Survivor energy also teaches you the importance of being gentle with yourself. Many people think strength means being hard, but a true survivor knows that softness is strength too. Prayer helps you embrace that softness. It's a reminder that you don't have to force yourself into unrealistic expectations or push yourself beyond your emotional limits. You don't have to match anyone else's pace. You don't need to live like someone who has everything figured out. You are allowed to be human, to take things one day at a time, to rest, to heal, and to grow. That gentleness becomes part of your strength because it protects your mental and emotional well-being, helping you navigate the week with clarity and intention. Your survivor energy becomes even stronger when you acknowledge your worth. Prayer creates a space where you remind yourself that you deserve peace, you deserve blessings, you deserve opportunities, and you deserve to rise above the difficulties that once held you down. When you affirm your worth through prayer, you awaken a level of confidence that is not loud but unshakable. It helps you walk into your week with the mindset that you are capable of accomplishing what you set your heart on. Not because life is easy, but because you are resilient. Embracing your inner survivor energy also means recognizing that you don't need everything to go perfectly in order to make progress. You don't need every plan to unfold exactly the way you imagined. Survivors know how to adapt, how to rise after setbacks, how to find new paths when old ones close. When you begin your week with prayer, you open your heart to guidance. You allow yourself to trust that even if the route changes, the destination will still be meaningful. This trust becomes part of your survivor identity, an identity that carries you through the week with calm determination. And perhaps the most empowering part of embracing this energy is understanding that you are still becoming. You are not defined by what happened to you. You are defined by how you continue to rise. Prayer supports that rising. It feeds your inner resilience. It reminds you that survival is not just about getting through, it's about transforming, rebuilding, and growing stronger every time you choose hope over fear. When you step into your week with that mindset, you don't just survive, you begin to thrive. Letting go of last week's weight is one of the most freeing choices you can make as you move into a new Monday. Yet it is something most people quietly struggle with. The truth is, you carry more from week to week than you realize. Every disappointment, every argument, every unfinished task, every moment of exhaustion, every thought that kept you awake at night. These things don't just disappear when the calendar changes. They often sit inside your mind and heart, affecting how you feel, how you think, and how you step into the days ahead. That is why beginning a new week with prayer is so powerful. It becomes the soft place where you release what no longer serves you. It gives you permission to set down emotions that are too heavy to carry into Monday. It becomes a spiritual cleansing that resets your energy and opens space for newness to enter. Letting go isn't about pretending nothing happened. It isn't about denying your feelings or forcing yourself to act stronger than you are. It's about acknowledging the weight you are carrying and choosing not to let it shape your new week. Prayer guides you into that space of honesty. When you speak your heart in prayer, whether through words, silence, or simply breathing, you begin to unload the heaviness piece by piece. Maybe last week drained you. Maybe someone's actions hurt you. Maybe something didn't go as planned, and the disappointment still lingers. Prayer allows you to bring all of that into a space where you are safe, where you are seen, where you can let go without judgment. In that release, you create emotional room for peace to enter. The weight of last week often shows up as stress. You might wake up on Monday already worried, already overwhelmed, already anticipating problems. You may not even realize that the stress belongs to yesterday, not today. Prayer helps you recognize this difference. It slows your mind down enough to see that not every emotion you feel belongs to this new moment. When you take a quiet moment to pray, your thoughts begin to separate. What happened last week loses its grip. Your mind clears. Your breathing steadies. You start to feel lighter because you are no longer dragging old burdens into new days. This clarity is what allows you to start your week with intention instead of anxiety. Another part of letting go is forgiveness, either forgiving yourself or forgiving others. You may have made mistakes last week. You may have reacted in ways you're not proud of or missed opportunities you wish you had taken. Holding on to self-blame becomes a silent burden that drains your confidence. But prayer gives you a chance to release that guilt. It reminds you that being imperfect doesn't make you unworthy. It reminds you that growth comes from understanding, not punishing. When you start your week with prayer, you are able to say, I did my best with what I knew, and allow yourself the grace to move forward. If someone else hurt you, prayer helps soften the bitterness. You don't have to forget what happened, but you can choose not to let it poison your new week. Forgiveness becomes a gift you give yourself so you can walk into Monday without emotional chains. Letting go also means loosening your attachment to outcomes. Sometimes the weight of last week comes from expectations that didn't unfold the way you hoped. You might feel discouraged because something didn't work out or because life didn't move at the pace you wanted. Prayer helps you surrender those frustrations. It shifts your focus from what didn't happen to what still can happen. It reminds you that life isn't defined by a single week and that new opportunities may be waiting even if last week felt stagnant. This shift in perspective brings a gentle hope that fuels your spirit as you step into the days ahead. There is a quiet transformation that happens when you let go of the weight from last week. Your heart feels lighter, your mind feels clearer, your spirit feels freer. You begin to notice beauty again, sunlight, laughter, small moments of peace that were drowned out by stress before. You walk into Monday not as someone carrying old burdens, but as someone open to new possibilities. Prayer becomes the bridge between what you're releasing and what you're receiving. It becomes the moment where you reclaim your power by choosing what you carry into the new week. And when you truly let go, even just a little, you give yourself the chance to experience the week with fresh eyes. You step into Monday with a renewed sense of hope, with energy that hasn't been drained by yesterday, with a spirit ready to rise. You allow yourself to believe in new strength, new blessings, new opportunities. Letting go of last week's weight through prayer doesn't erase your past, but it frees your heart to embrace your future with courage and clarity. Being the girl next door with a strong spirit is about embracing the quiet, simple, authentic parts of yourself that are often far more powerful than anything loud or dramatic. It means you don't need to present yourself as someone extraordinary or perfect in order to have meaningful faith or deep spiritual strength. You don't need to speak in grand phrases or practice spirituality in showy ways. Your strength comes from your realness, your softness, your sincerity, the way you get up each day and try again even when no one is cheering. Starting your week with prayer doesn't turn you into a different person. It helps you become more grounded in the beautiful, ordinary human version of yourself. That alone makes your connection with prayer more powerful because it comes from your heart, not performance. It comes from honesty, not pressure. It comes from the simple desire to align your spirit with peace, hope, and purpose. When people think about spiritual strength, they often imagine someone who seems untouchably wise or perfectly calm all the time. But true strength is not found in perfection. It is found in the everyday moments where you choose faith over fear, peace over pressure, and hope over heaviness. The girl next door spirit is relatable. She is someone who lives in the real world, feels real emotions, carries real worries, but still chooses to seek light. She doesn't pretend to have it all figured out, yet she carries a quiet determination that pushes her forward. Prayer becomes her anchor, not because she is overly spiritual, but because she is deeply human. In that humanity, her prayers become more heartfelt, more intimate, more sincere. Being spiritually strong while staying simple means you do not need to look or act a certain way to be connected. You don't need expensive rituals or perfectly crafted routines. Sometimes your prayer is whispered while you're getting ready in the morning. Sometimes it's felt in the silence of a tired moment. Sometimes it's spoken softly before you step outside your door. These small, genuine moments create a deep spiritual strength because they are woven into your daily life. They remind you that spirituality doesn't require a stage. It requires honesty. It requires showing up as you are. It requires believing that your simple presence is enough. The girl next door spirit is about softness, but not weakness. There is strength in gentleness. There is courage in vulnerability. There is resilience in being someone who cares deeply, who feels deeply, who hopes deeply. Prayer nurtures that softness and transforms it into a calm inner strength that is not shaken by challenges. When you start your week with prayer, you step into your Monday with the heart of someone who refuses to be hardened by life. Someone who carries grace even when the world feels heavy. That grace makes you stronger than you realize. It makes you capable of handling the week with patience instead of panic, compassion instead of frustration, and clarity instead of confusion. Being the girl next door also means you are relatable to yourself. You don't try to be someone else. You don't compare your spiritual journey with others. You recognize that your strength grows in your own way and at your own pace. Prayer helps silence the inner pressure to be perfect. It reminds you that your journey is enough. It gives you permission to grow slowly, gently, and authentically. It helps you understand that every small step toward peace is a victory. And because you are not trying to impress anyone, the peace you receive becomes real, steady, and lasting. Another part of having a strong spirit, like the girl next door, is the ability to stay grounded. Life can be overwhelming, especially when responsibilities pile up and expectations weigh on your shoulders. Prayer becomes your grounding force, a quiet moment where you reconnect with your values, your intentions, your desires, and your inner truth. It keeps you centered and helps you enter the week with a calm heart instead of a chaotic mind. You begin to approach each day with quiet confidence rather than emotional exhaustion. You handle problems with clarity because your spirit is anchored. Your simplicity also makes your spiritual journey inspiring. When others see someone living with peace without trying to be anything more than themselves, it gives them hope. It reminds them that spirituality isn't reserved for saints or perfect people. It's for everyday individuals who simply choose to pause, breathe, pray, and keep going. Your natural way of carrying faith becomes a gentle light to those around you, not because you try to shine, but because you stay true to who you are. When you embrace this girl next door strength, your week begins differently. You step into it with humility, honesty, and a heart ready to grow. Prayer becomes a part of your rhythm, not as a duty, but as a refuge. You feel supported, centered, and connected. And as your week unfolds, you carry that gentle strength with you in every moment, proving that the most powerful spirit can come from the simplest, most authentic version of you. Speaking hope into your week before it begins is one of the most transformative things you can do for your mindset, your energy, and your emotional strength. The words you speak over yourself have the power to shape how you experience the days ahead, because your thoughts create your perspective, and your perspective guides your actions. When you start your week with prayer, you invite hope to take root in your heart before stress, doubt, or fear have a chance to set in. You choose to fill your spirit with light before the world can offer you noise. You give yourself a spiritual head start, a gentle push into the week with a mindset that says, good things are possible for me. New opportunities can come. I am ready for peace, clarity, and blessings. Speaking hope is not wishful thinking. It is planting seeds of strength long before you need them. There are weeks when you wake up Monday morning already tired, already overwhelmed, already unsure of how you'll handle everything waiting for you. Life has a way of piling responsibilities, emotions, and unexpected challenges onto your shoulders. But when you take a moment to speak hope into your week, you interrupt that cycle. You shift your emotional atmosphere. You refuse to let negativity write the story before the week has even begun. Prayer becomes the doorway through which hope enters your heart. In that quiet moment, your words become a shield that protects your spirit from unnecessary worry. They become a reminder that you do not have to face the week alone, that something greater is guiding you, strengthening you, and preparing you for what lies ahead. Speaking hope also means choosing to see your week through a different lens. Instead of expecting stress, you expect peace. Instead of anticipating problems, you anticipate solutions. Instead of feeling afraid of what might go wrong, you feel open to what might go right. This shift is powerful because it influences your emotional reactions. When challenges do come, and they always do, you handle them with more patience and clarity because your mindset was prepared for growth, not defeat. Prayer helps you set this emotional tone. When you speak hopeful words at the start of your week, you are telling yourself that you deserve joy, that you deserve guidance, that you deserve moments of goodness even in stressful seasons. Hope is also about direction. When you speak hope into your week, you align yourself with purpose. You remind yourself of what matters. You become conscious of the kind of energy you want to carry and the kind of person you want to be. Maybe you want this week to bring healing. Maybe you want it to bring focus. Maybe you want to feel grounded or inspired or emotionally supported. Prayer helps you identify those desires and bring them to the surface. Saying them out loud gives them power. It sets your intentions clearly, and intention makes your actions more meaningful. When you know what you are hoping for, you walk into your week with confidence instead of confusion. There is also a beautiful spiritual aspect to speaking hope. It is a way of surrendering control while still claiming strength. It means admitting that you don't know exactly what the week will bring, but you trust that you will have what you need to face it. It means acknowledging that life is unpredictable, but your spirit does not have to be shaken by every situation. Prayer allows you to speak hope with faith, knowing that the words you release carry weight in the unseen. They create a sense of peace that stays with you long after the prayer ends. Hope becomes a soft armor for your heart. It protects you from falling into old patterns of worry. It helps you respond to difficulties with perspective instead of panic. It lifts your mood even before anything good has happened, because you have already decided that goodness is possible. And when your spirit starts the week in a hopeful place, your actions naturally follow. You speak more kindly. You move more confidently. You solve problems with clearer judgment. You feel more connected to yourself and to the world around you. Speaking hope into your week is not about denying reality. It is about strengthening your spirit so you can face reality with grace. It is about choosing light even when shadows are present. It is about giving yourself the emotional and spiritual foundation you need to rise above discouragement. Prayer turns hope from a fleeting idea into a grounded force inside you. You step into your week with a heart that believes things can get better, that blessings can arrive unexpectedly, that strength can grow in hard times, and that your journey is moving towards something meaningful. When you speak hope before your week begins, you are not just preparing for the days ahead. You are shaping them with intention, courage, and quiet faith. As we come to the close of this reflection, remember that every new week is a gift, a blank page, a chance to start fresh with hope, strength, and purpose. Prayer is not just a ritual, it is your anchor, your guide, and your source of courage as you face the days ahead. By pausing, releasing what no longer serves you, embracing your inner survivor, and speaking hope into your week, you are choosing to walk with intention, clarity, and peace. You are choosing to rise above fear, doubt, and yesterday's burdens, stepping confidently into the possibilities that await. Carry the quiet strength of your heart with you, and let it guide every action, every decision, every word you speak. May this week be a canvas for your victories, a space for your growth, and a journey filled with unexpected blessings. Trust in your resilience, trust in the process, and above all, trust in the power of your spirit. Good luck as you embrace this new week with courage and hope, and thank you for allowing this moment to remind you of the incredible strength you carry within yourself. Your week starts now. Walk into it boldly, peacefully, and purposefully.